Hello and assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome to our YouTube channel for the NUSTIAN Fireside Chat series. Today is a very special episode as we have one of our very special guests joining us for the chat. As part of this series, we invite our alumni to walk with them their journeys after they have graduated from NUST and have embarked upon their professional journeys. We talk about their successes, we talk about their failures, we talk about their challenges, their joys, their accomplishments, and lessons learned. To make it more fun as well, we talk personal stuff. We talk about things that excite them, things that make them passionate, and what they do, why they do it. Before getting into and introducing our guest, a couple of administrative things. One is subscribe to our channel by pressing the bell icon. And second is if you would like us to engage with an alumni that you think would be a perfect fit for our chat series, please tag them in the comments below and we'll reach out and engage. With that, I won't take much time, but I will introduce our very own NUSTIAN's president and founding member, Shiraz Bashir. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm good. Thanks, Hammad, for doing this.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give a little introduction about Shiraz Bhai. A lot of us here in North America know him very well. For the folks who don't know him, he is a Military College of Signals School graduate. That means, are you a telecom engineer, sir? Right? To start
I'm a telecom engineer to start, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's fun, wonderful. In his professional experience, he has worked across multitude of industries which go from oil and gas, healthcare, I would say aviation, transportation, you name it. In his current role, he is working as a senior engagement manager at Chai One. I love to call it Chai One, right? With the chai tea, the jo hum peete. So, and he works with his overseas clients in the steel, construction, agricultural industries. Is there an industry that you have not worked in, Shiraz Bhai?
I think space is only one probably left.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Space should be one next.
Inshallah, inshallah. That's awesome. Along with your professional accomplishments, I also want to shed light on the philanthropic work that you do of giving back. The time that you take out to basically out of your personal time, your professional time, your busy timeline, you have done, basically you're co-founded the College of Signals Alumni Association. You have served as an advisor and a member of their board of directors. You have served as a member of the board of trustees for NUST Trust Fund. And you have also served and founded the NUSTIAN USA organization. And you're the current president and the member of the board of trustees. So if I may, how do you do all of this with your limited time?
Hammad, when I was at college, the many seniors put discipline to help others. So they were helping lots of people from there. So when I graduated, I noticed that there's not much help available to get the job. It was like 97. I still remember when I had a degree, but then I have no clue where to go, like Rawalpindi, right? There's no internet, no nothing. So luckily some officers from Air Force and NUST people helped me. So then I remember that once I get something stable, I should give back. And then with the other seniors in College of Signals at that time, we started very small in 2002 and started giving back. And it helped me a lot, both professionally and also from, I would say, emotional perspective as well. Otherwise, you get too busy in things and then you don't focus what is actually important, giving back to the society.
That's beautiful. Very well said. Very, very well said. If I may, we would love to learn about your childhood. Where did you grow up, and how and what and when you decided to pursue engineering and NUST? Why NUST? Help walk us through that.
My father was in the military, so we spent most of the time, I would say, Rawalpindi, inner city. If you're familiar with Rawalpindi, the Alabad and Churchok, I'm going to say that
Yes.
when behind the West Range. That's the area I grew up. And I love those streets. I still go there. I'm very fond of that area. So childhood, pretty much, I grew up in that area. Then we moved toward the area called Afshan Colony near Kasim Market, and I think most of the people were moving from Allahabad to become very congested into the area. And there are a couple of friends. They are in UK and one is in LA. Wasim. They were a childhood friends. So interacting with them, I started getting a little bit understanding of that this world outside to do that. So as 80s ended, 90s started, so college I got in, and then started getting interested in engineering to do that. So basically, close circle of friends again goes back to the they were helping. Many of them were putting on cycle and taking to associate school. You know those
Wow.
areas, right? The
Yes.
lights are always tough, so someone is helping you. So you remember those things little, and then you try to give back. That's where I got interested in engineering, and it was early days of computers in late 80s. So somehow I got hold of a computer. Commodore 64 is one of my favorite childhood memories you mentioned,
Wow. Yeah.
and that got me more into more that how things work, and then eventually landed into College of Signals, and then rest is history. As you say.
Oh, that's awesome. No, thank you for sharing that with us. So, no, that's beautiful. It's always great to relive those memories, your childhood memories, the things that influence you to get into whatever we're doing in lives, right? So, and how we pursue our education. So, I'm going to drift a little bit and throw you a curveball. In like a lot of our desi parents, when we're growing up, there is only two or three options to pursue academically, right? Either you're a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. So was there any kind of pressure besides your interest that you generated? Was there any kind of pressure from your parents? Did that ever occur?
No, so I think that's another important point. I will talk a little bit later. And no pressure from the both father, mother, or any uncle, but there was pressure to study. I mean,
Okay.
not on the what career do. So they were not micromanaging. So that's the point I'm going to hone. What my family gave it to me. So they just provided. I mean, we were not rich at that time, so it's typical lower middle class family trying to get into this upper class, but environment was very nurturing, cultivating, safe and secure. Even streets were safe. So it's not only parents. You can go out and then stay late night, nothing happened to you. So whoever had something will give it to you. Book, cycle, I mentioned. So there was lots of sharing going on. So that cultivated back again all the right environment to study. So discipline was there. Hey, you're gonna go to the school, right? You're gonna go to the homework,
Yes.
and there's no compromise on that. But beyond that, there was no micromanagement, no control that who you are meeting, who you are not meeting from the social class perspective. And so I have a wide range of friends, all social classes, growing up in Rawalpindi. And also the focus was on the studies and whatever they can muster and give me to that. So,
So that's beautiful. That's a very key learning lesson for, I think, how the environment shapes. So based on that learning, how do we, if we ask one of your kids, how is Shiraz Bhai as a parent? How are you translating those values into your offspring? How's that coming along?
so same thing. I mean, I have a wife as well, so it's not always
Oh, yeah,
copy. So I don't micromanage, right? So same thing I do. So because it helped me well. I wanted to flex my own thinking and everything. So same thing I do. I don't micromanage. I just expose them to various activities. Like my son, I was talking to one of my friend. He's into Japanese anime and Japanese language. I have no clue. I watch a lot of movies, but I've never got any interest in Japanese stuff. But he does. So and I don't. Say don't do that and this that, so no micromanagement, just provide them again the environment wherever they feel trouble. uh, you just provide them help and then go away. I don't like what they call hovering parents, like every millisecond update. So then they're not gonna learn, then they will become you, which you think is right, it is not right.
No, that's a very, very important point that you bring up, and it's invaluable to have that support system and parents who can encourage that critical thinking, give you the freedom to flourish, yet also provide the support and guidance to be able to to, as you explore, just you have that resource to fall back on. So that's extremely important.
Just provide the cushion that they know. I use the analogy like in highway, you have those white lanes where the only police can go. So
Yeah.
those are lane. You stay within that and then do whatever you want within the speed limit. But don't go there. If you go there, police as a parent is going to come back and
Yes.
bring you back.
No, that's
Lots
very.
of issues around drugs and lack of focus, all those kind of things, even in the affluent societies in schools. So you just give them clear discipline that, hey, those things are not good. But other than that, there's no need to do too much micromanagement.
That's perfect. And one, before we hover, basically not hover, before we basically transition to the next topic, the one slight thing that you mentioned while you were growing up, you had a societal support structure, a society that was very encouraging, very friendly, very frank. How are you able to create that kind of environment for your kids right now, or how? What difference do you see there?
I think the difference I'm seeing, and it's a challenge, by the way, and we'll do something on that when you later we can talk a little bit too. So, street in America is not as I would say available to the kids, and the reason is that nature of the society we live in America. It's very individual centric society. So unless you want to go out, street is not coming to help you. It's very different than what, let's say, Rawalpindi was. Rawalpindi, everyone knew everyone, right? Whether they like it or not. So there's a disadvantage of that as well, but there's advantage to that. So you become very resourceful, right? So you always knew who has what, and you can get that. In America, it's always about you to do that. So that's a very stark difference I see. Other than that, I think it's pretty much similar. You can get access to the books, net, and all that kind of stuff. But that area we need to work. So what I do here is to let my son and soon daughter as well to let bike go out to nearby places, and then I tell my wife and myself, don't worry about it, because there's no need to again micromanage. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always very challenging.
Yes.
But Sam, a few of his friends go, so that's slowly we're trying to create, because that's what we used to do at his age group. So I try to see what I was doing, how it helped, and then I say you can do go watch movie, basic things. So,
Nice.
but obviously it's not as big society support. It's a different kind of support in the United States.
Okay. So no, thank you very much for sharing those, important aspects of living in the United States, raising a family in the United States, and how it is different from what our experiences have been, and how to the next generation, how do we translate those things, and what kind of platforms we can provide or support structures we can provide for them to flourish as well. So I'm going to switch back, take you back to Rawalpindi, MCS, Military College of Signals, and NUST. So once you graduated, right? Once you were an engineer, graduated, freshly graduated. So what were your next steps? How the United States, and what led you to come to the United States, and talk to us about that thought process and that time period in your journey.
Yeah, so I graduated in 97. At that time, US was not in my mind. So my immediate goal, as you know, the goal of every middle class person is to get a job or internship, right? So that's what I got there's a setup in Air Force. I can't talk much about it, but that was a local job for 3 years there. I worked. But then, and it again goes back to the same friend circle, right? So one of my common friend, his friend is from GK, his very close friend as well. He got admission in Gannon University through General Electric scholarship in Erie, Pennsylvania. So he has a common friend, which was my course mate, and he got here in the United States. He got rest of them. So we were like 10, 12 people at one time in between 2000 and 2002 in Erie, Pennsylvania, from STEM schools. So
Wow.
FEME folks, MCS folks, GK early batches.
Very nice.
So
These
that's
are
what
all these are all General Electric GE scholarships.
these scholarships. Yeah. So one got in, and then that's where you're saying that why when people ask why, because I was helped, right? I mean, it's just plain simple. There's nothing more to it, right? And they do not had any. He's from Lahore, Imran Bajwa. So he does not need to help me, but he really helped me to. So I and then other people come, and then we try to give back as much as, because those are formative years, as you know,
Mhm.
and it's tough to come out from not only awareness but
Uh-huh.
also how to apply when you come to United States, receiving from the airport and making sure apartment is ready. I
Yes.
did not feel any difference. I think it's worse now because now people struggle. At that time, my apartment was already there. I just have to sleep, go
Oh
sleep.
wow.
So they will tell me where to buy social security, get a social security card and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I did. So early batch of GK, and they were very good friends. I mean, we chat daily, I think 10 or 12 people. So,
So I must recognize you here, and also I must emphasize that what an accomplishment and honor it is to get a General Electric scholarship, because in that era, in General Electric as a company, one of the most fantastic companies, it has case studies in all these business schools and how it has transformed and did transformative technology for engines and household equipment, name it, anything, right? GE was there, and it was prestigious to be selected and get. I would get selected as there as a GE a trainee, right? So, and under their scholarship, they have and had MBA programs, engineers they would bring in. So I must recognize you that it's not an easy feat. Absolutely. Would you agree with that?
yeah. I mean, it was tough. There was multiple interviews first from Gannon people, and then the actual employees from the G, and people talk about COVID, and that was a remote interview, by the way, so on the phone. So you can imagine. I still remember I had a whole room full of consulting notes and all that kind of stuff, and making sure no one makes a noise and phone connection is nice and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's good, good to get that scholarship. Yeah.
That's amazing. No, congratulations, and I'm so glad and happy for you. And so once you're, excuse me, so once you arrived, and then once you started, and when you came here, how did you find the environment? What differences did you find? What kind of initial challenges were you getting homesick? What was on your mind? Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay here for long, or what was on your immediate mind? Like, what were the immediate short term goals that you had in mind, or how were you
Not
thinking?
much of a homesick, more of a understanding the culture, not only people. So luckily we had few, like I mentioned, friends. So, and we had a formal mentors as well. We go back to the coaching again, but understanding how American engineering works. So this product was locomotive. These are freight locomotives which you see Union Pacific, and it's a very complex machine, right? Though I work in aviation, I knew system a little bit, but I mean, these are complex machines. So my understanding that how to work within the team and start getting deliverables done, and meanwhile continuing the education as well, because it was a part-time master's and part-time study. So adjustment to that culture of both education and from academic perspective, and also in the office how to deal with the people, because that's not how we dealt with in Pakistan. Pakistan is very hierarchical, right? So you know, okay, who is who and all that kind of stuff, but here is you don't know who I need to talk. So
Yeah.
there's lots of initiative, if you will, I have to take. You have to go find the information. No one is going to bring it to you.
Uh-huh. No,
You
absolutely.
have to walk on the plant, go to talk to that guy or girl and get some information, and then try to make sure it works or not. And it was a huge plant, so for freight
Yeah.
locomotive again. So that those were initial cultures. And then challenge after graduating was that 911 happened. So I often mention that. So you, I was about to graduate, 911 happened, transportation went down. It was terrible. Some event for Pakistani descent happened. Then luckily healthcare was doing very well. So we all, most of us moved to Wisconsin uh,
Okay.
in G healthcare.
Yeah.
to do that. So though that early experience also created, I call it now resilience. Resiliency
Yes.
is the word
Yes.
we use, or grit in Texas word. So और उर्दू में ढीठ जिसे कहते हैं कि वो एक बंदा बन जाता है, कहता है doesn't matter, I'm gonna find out. So that helped me down the road too, because these things come up and down. So,
Yep. So this is a very important point that you bring up, and a lot of our audience as well, students who are pursuing or trying to pursue education in the U.S. Once they're here, trying to find a job, and then once, I mean, nowadays, I mean, we still in the recent past we've had toughness in terms of the work visas and job finding. So similarly, if we reverse it back to uh, 9/11, very unfortunate and sad and terrible incident, right? So, and you were right in the midst of that time frame when you were transitioning, completing your master's. So, how did the company help you with your work visa, like H-1B, or how did that work? Or you had like a CPT or an OPT that gave you the buffer for 2 years since you already had a job with them? How did that? Talk to us about that, please.
yeah, so company G was very resourceful, and G did help. And since we were part of this graduate program, I mean, equivalent, this was equivalent to what we call Edison engineering program. Now it's no longer there on Great Edison's name. So they were very resourceful, but still we had to make an effort, right? Again, Imran Bajwa mentioned again. He used to send me those Excel with the job opening, and then I diligently apply. So goes back. You have to follow up, right?
Okay. Yes.
So you have to follow up. If someone sends you, see follow up, right? I mean, the same true as of now. And the OPT issue was that since 9/11 happened and entire America got into frenzy,
Yeah.
so we have to go to a immigration office USCIS to
Okay.
register, and I
Uh,
did not had OPT, and I was scared. I don't want to go because I did not had any status, right? And due
uh-huh.
to that environment, they would have that. So I did not go on the last day, but then luckily they changed, extended it, and I got the OPT, and then it was not that bad.
Oh,
Then,
good.
it was Wisconsin. Then that time, they then moment I have OPT, they started letting me work, and then
Hmm.
each one came up, and then when I needed visa stamp, they even paid for me to go to Canada to get the visa stamp. So it
Okay.
took very good care of there. I mean, early G careers, there were formal mentorship.
Hmm.
And again, goes back to the coaching, and they used to tell
Yeah.
you why you do certain thing, and then the work comes.
Oh, okay.
That's another. You keep asking right about coaching, so I see coaches all the way. So they
Yes.
literally say like, here's how equipment works. Let's look at the equipment first. Forget about work or how
Uh-huh.
to write a document,
Yes.
how
So
to
the
write a test case or whatever. So, and that means a lot. I mean, I mean, fairly young, but I had a bachelor's degree and all that stuff. Still, someone was taking time to teach you, and that's how it should be. Because something we assume other people would know,
Mhm.
they don't. I mean, how
Yeah.
would somebody know? You just have to tell them.
So I would say that's thank you for sharing that with us. What you bring up is a couple of again very important points. I keep on saying this because um, these are things that are close to my heart as well. These are things that I think add value overall in a person's wholesome presence as well as what they're doing. So if I may take the liberty here, is what I'm going to say is what you luckily also once you got into General Electric, you found two things which you learned. I would say one is the culture of General Electric was coaching oriented, like coaching their people, and the culture within GE was also to make you think about process first and make you think about learn about the process and what you are basically going to be operating in. Those are very important ingredients for a culture to be successful. Would you say so?
Correct. Yeah, you have to tell the why you do certain thing, not the tactical part. So you tell why, like why safety is important. It's a patient monitoring I work with. Why
Hmm.
patient monitoring safety is important, right? Even though it's a class two device, not as hard as let's say anesthesia machine, but still. So you have to explain that first, and
Yep.
then will come. So if you start here, then they won't know, and then they will make mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is exactly you put it very correctly. Process, understanding the intent, and then the technical elements people can figure it out. But
So.
also the like engineering itself, like how to practice engineering. We don't teach that.
Hmm.
As
Yeah.
mentioned, very basic thing. shall, should, could has very specific meaning in engineering, right? So we talk about requirements management. So will, would, could. They tell you that this is how, why we say. We
Yeah.
don't say I will or I could. That has no meaning in engineering document because they're not going to do anything. It needs to be
Yeah.
very strong if you want to get it done.
Yes.
That's you just remove it from the vocabulary. And short and terse sentences,
Mhm.
precise, all that good stuff. So this all came from my, I think Pete Osborne. He was my QA. I still remember he was redlining.
Mhm. Oh wow. Okay. Great. No, that is very very helpful. I think it's also, I think, as we do these fireside chat series and as we bring esteemed and accomplished professionals like yourselves, uh, we learn a lot, obviously, and also our audience. I think it's important things to capture and gain and learn as we share these things. I hope it will help people. So let's come here in terms of, I'm going to continue this discussion off. At what time would you say that you started really enjoying your work, one, and second, you made a decision that, okay, I'm going to stay in the United States? um, when would you say, was there any event that triggered that, or you just, it just happened with the flow and you just kept on going? Did you ever think of going back, or?
It's immense learning from the day one, all the way from G transportation at ARI. So I was always interested in system engineering, complex systems, and then managing team, and there was plenty of opportunity. And more importantly, again, you can get people who actually did something, right?
Yeah.
They're sitting next to you. So you don't like in Pakistan, you would probably think, oh, there's a person there and there, right?
Yeah.
There was not access, or society was not so interconnected to, even there are many Pakistanis in Pakistan, but you don't get here. The person is sitting next to you, so that gives you lots of confidence. So it started, so immense learning in the beginning, and then healthcare, uh,
Okay.
uh, large teams, right? Complex systems, vendors, so those kind of things just told me that this is the country to stay, and
Okay.
just don't want to go anywhere. See
No,
what's happening.
I completely understand. I echo what you're saying. I mean, having an experience of multitude of different cultures and experiences in different countries and growing up, for me personally, I think um, there are a few things. Obviously, every country has its own challenges in terms of their society and in terms of their structures that are in place. But I would say that United States, I mean, and as you just said, I'm just going to further that plus one, it's saying provides you unique opportunities, right? It has its challenges that are acknowledged, but also provides you unique opportunities of which are very unparalleled and very difficult to match and find elsewhere.
Yeah, for example, I was working on Intel chip, right? And you can call Intel people, and there you go.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Yeah.
At that time, it was Intel CPU, Pentium M chip, and that's pretty much it, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing more than that. And then you can call whoever you want in Intel to get whatever application nodes or even chips and etc. And then you feel very empowered that, okay, now you have to do something with that. You
Yeah.
cannot have an excuse anymore that resources are not available. So society is very enabling,
Oh,
especially
that's a
in
beautiful word.
because so people are secure. That's
Yeah.
also I noticed. Now we see a little bit issues, but at that time at least people were very secure. They never hesitated to share their knowledge or material, etc. They won't withhold any information.
Mhm.
Information is freely available, whether it's vendor or senior engineers, or you can just go ask somebody, hey, why you do certain thing, and they will explain to that. So
Yeah.
that was in the product, right? Like a patient not is a physical product, so you have to look into 360
Yes.
degree. So learn a lot from packaging, etc.
Okay, no, thank you. That's important information. And again, I cannot emphasize enough to for our audience and young audience and aspiring students and professionals to understand and get visibility into people who are working here, who have gone through a tremendous experience, reputable firms and smart people, smart engineers. So, thank you. So I'm going to move on to the next uh, question here, and I want to so now all this has framed to what Shiraz is today, right? The journey from Rawalpindi and to NUST and then to GE and different states and Wisconsin, different departments within GE. Um, And with that, in the beginning, as we said, you're doing so much philanthropic work and with all these organizations. So how are you managing your time 24 hours within a day, professionally, personally? You're a parent, you're a husband, um, and you're socially active, right? With so many organizations giving back. Uh, how? What's the magic ingredient?
I think the principle I have is to try to give everyone its due within a day. I mean, I will talk sometime more detail, but I think Prophet ﷺ has a similar concept that within a day, part of himself, part for God, part for family, part for people. I don't think so, and don't kill me for that. He did not say that I'm going to postpone and help him like after 1 month.
Yeah.
So whatever issue comes up, it gets dealt right there, like
Okay.
done. Either you do it or someone else, you can delegate it and move in. There's no point in asking or helping 15 days from now because that person may not need help. So whether it's family,
Hmm.
kids, yourself. So I run a lot. I mean, I just finished 10-mile run today.
Oh, nice.
We'll
Beautiful.
talk about that coaching too. So there's a bunch of coaches coaching me on that from Nustian too.
Okay.
I'll keep bringing coaches, family, then self, and then community. So as long as you put a frame that I have these whatever wake hours you have, just try to do it incrementally. Then over the time, it becomes your priority. The rest, everything is secondary. So you don't waste on things which don't matter. Like I used to follow soccer a lot. I'm just between us, right? I used to play a soccer a lot. MCS, I was captain to a
Mhm.
but I don't follow soccer anymore. Maybe final world,
Okay.
maybe cricket. So again, nothing wrong if someone is following. It's just that priority, whatever.
Yes.
So I would rather allocate that much time for these activities, which I think I like to do, and it makes me happy and emotionally stable and all kind of stuff. Than those long hours
Okay.
spent on those activities and everything. So I just again day divide into all these four buckets and
Mhm.
then try to what we call the principle of triage, right? Any incoming thing, you look at it, can I do something about it? Then do it. Not, can Satyamur do it? Give it to him.
Yeah.
Ask
Okay.
them up, anything. And same goes for family, guys. Can I clean the yard? Do it. If not, then call somebody. So there is no need to wait, right? Waiting is not going to do anything to that task. It's just going to
Yes.
sit there. So this is Japanese philosophy too. They say Kanban, make it
Yep.
very visible. So you
Yep.
look at thing and then just, and that's what I do in office too. That can I add any value? If yes, do. Otherwise, move.
Oh, nice. So
That
two.
helps a lot with the day-to-day management of things. Make a very quick call on that. And then over the 20 years, since you are doing so much,
Uh-huh.
you're very, very skilled on these things. And then you become very resourceful. You know who to engage quickly
Yes.
and tee those people off, and then you back up. Again, no micromanagement, right?
Yep.
So probably you've noticed I don't micromanage too much.
No.
Like
No.
Fireside, I did not say, okay, you should do fire chat like this and that.
Yep. No. Not
Capable
at all.
person, you're gonna do it.
Yes. Oh, that's so. I'm going to summarize what you just said. Like three things that struck to me were what you're doing is you're proactive and efficient in your tasks and making things happen, and you have a mechanism around them. The principle of triage and the principle of Kanban, as you mentioned, right? Uh, Incoming, get it done. If you can't do it, delegate it, right? Or third, if not, then find something that somebody who can do it, right? So that's beautifully presented. Second thing that I want to emphasize, and I'm just going to restate, is that you take time out for your personal self, right? Because you only have one body to live in, which is Shiraz Bashir's body, and you ran 10 miles today, so that is fantastic. Third, but not the least and most important thing is that what I captured from what you just said is the having the support structure, and in terms of what you mentioned is the coaches, right? So if you have a goal and you're setting it up and you're all serious about accomplishing it, then seeking help and seeking guidance, it is a phenomenal thing to be able to do, right?
If I may ask, sorry, stress on
Yes.
this seeking help. So still, people are very, very shy in
Mhm.
asking help. So in my college of signals, it's getting better, but I communicate there a lot, and everyone knows me, whether they like me or not, but they know me. So one feedback I got that Sir Shiraz is trying to evaluate us and grade us somehow that how good they are. I said, no, that's not the point. I am from same part
Yes.
and same social class. I'm trying to extend you the help. But it's so big alumni, the 36,000 member and 3,000 alone are in the Signals College where I'm from.
Wow.
I mean,
Mhm.
so unless someone says something, it's very difficult for me to find out what help is needed. So people are still shy. And on coaching, like running, when I started 2018, I couldn't even run 1 mile. Last time I ran was in MCS in 97. So Sir Nabil, Haral, a bunch of people do that. Sarji, I need to run. They say, go get your feet checked, whatever shoes. And you laugh at it. I always wear size 8 shoes,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And these people, these specialty shoes, your size is size 10. You need
Oh,
to wear size 10 shoes.
okay.
And so basic thing, right? They got a nice shoes, and then they say tips and thing. 3 years I have zero injury, and
Wow.
I'm running for. So, but I wish we have a health group and we chat every day pretty much there. That this is my progress, and Sir Nabil is not generally into our core. He's from TCC 92 graduate in UK. He's not in our man alumni stream, but he
Okay.
works on the back. He daily helps do this, do that. Not, so back to the again coaching. So I had a need because I was getting weight and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So, and then other people come, and then now people also ask. So I think a couple of youngsters are asking how we can run. I said join the group and then we'll talk. And few others are there. So
So this is phenomenal. You have to add.
ask for help. Yeah, that's the point. Ask for help. Don't be shy. If I can ask help at 46, and then I also ask help on the, let's say, data science. I'm learning a little bit, ask some help with a bunch of other
Mhm.
people. I'm not shy. Something I don't understand. Oh, I don't understand. Just explain it to me. But I do my part. So people know that I'm doing something. I cannot just blank, hey, teach me data science. Then no one is going to help. But when you have a specific question,
Mhm.
we show that you have a willingness and consistency, then there are plenty of people. There are very, very skilled people in NUSTIAN alumni. I mean, I'm very happy to see all the talent we have in our groups and in general.
No, absolutely. And again, the credit, I cannot give you enough credit to being a founding member of the NUSTIAN USA and putting in all the hard work to get the organization up and running. With that, I mean, I just want to transition into another question I had and it aptly fits. Before I do that, I want to say that you have to, and I actually am going to send you a request to join the running group because I am gaining a lot of weight and I need to lose and shed weight. Um, this quarantine has probably added 45 pounds on me, and I don't like what I see. Anyway, um, so having said that, I want to transition here into with the help and how do you define success? How do you define success? And then how do you, as you said, a lot of people think you evaluate them. So how do you evaluate success? So two parts of that question is for Shiraz Bashir, what is success? How have you defined it? And how are you inching towards it? And how are you tracking and evaluating your progress towards that success?
I think, Ahmad, I've stopped doing that way back, and I will tell
Okay.
you why. So, first problem I generally see, and it's not just Pakistan, across the society, people start competing with each other. Like, for example, oh, Hamad has this car, or Hamad has this job, and I should have that, or salary. There's no end to that, right? I mean, you will kill relationships and all that kind of stuff. So, best thing is to look at yourself. When I run, I'm not looking at my mile with the pace, right? Per mile time with Sir Nabil. I mean, he more power to him if he's running faster than me.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my success in running, for example, is that 2018 I couldn't run a mile. Now I can run 17 mile, 15 mile, and all that stuff, and I'm happy. I'm incrementally improving it. Same goes for career. I never looked at it that this person or that person is getting ahead. There's more power to that person. Maybe you should get that job, and I'm not going to apply for that.
Yes.
This is important mindset change, because you have to make the society or community, whatever you're working, better. Collectively, we all win. When we start this thing, okay, let's make sure he or she does not get ahead, then you are into that silly competition, which we often talk about. It becomes very, very problematic. So,
Yeah.
in personal success, if you keep raising the bar, so once I am off from my president role, SN is coming up. I already started. We can talk about that. Participating in Texas Democratic Party.
Oh,
I'm elected
congratulations. Good.
official there too, at the Texas state level. So I'm slowly learning it, right? So I have those skills which I learned in alumni. I can help them. But that's my own success. Now, if someone else is running, more power to him. I will help him or her. I'm not jealous. Is this another problem, right? Why that person is running? I don't know. You should run them. Maybe.
Yeah.
Encouraging some people run for boards and will enable again write checks, provide coaching, and it's the same problem there. You have different groups coming in. You're competing priorities, and then you have to get your voice heard, right, in front of president or party officials. The same problem, nothing different. But that's my own thing, right? And when I reached out for people for voting, back to earlier point, supporting structure was there. People say, yeah, run. I'm not running for office, so that I'm going to vote for you across the Texas. Every person in the Texas, like a district wise, they vote on that. So it's just focus on yourself, keep raising bar high. And if you don't reach it, don't feel bad, right? I mean, fine, do something else then. Then I think it is better to do that. Eventually you get what you want. So I always wanted to become a politician, right? So you probably know. So hopefully I can now become to do that. As long as you show and you have skills and continuously working on it and not competing with others. Competing becomes very, very nasty. One should back off, right? That gets a little ugly. Even if something, just back off, let other person win on that particular.
I cannot emphasize enough and agree with you more than what you and how you have defined it. And if my memory serves me right, compete actually comes from a Latin word, means compite, which means to work together as a team. It does not mean to fight against each other or basically compete as it is known right now. But thank you for sharing that. That's a very valuable insight in terms of looking at success from this angle and looking at success towards yourself and joining it with the success of other people, right? And collective success, and looking at it as, jealousy is a natural phenomenon. Every person at some stage might feel it, and it is nothing that we can basically not experience. You are going to experience jealousy, but being aware of it and being able to deal with it and reorient your mind in a phase of getting from this phase of detriment to yourself and the person you're looking at or others' environment, changing your frame of mind to a situation where you're looking at it from, okay, this is what I was thinking and I really wanted it, and then exploring yourself, do you really want it? Two things, do you really want it, as you said, and if you really want it, then go do it. And if you cannot do it at the moment, then help the person who's doing it. So it's collective success, and it comes back to you, as you said, right?
Because like you mentioned, like success, I also look at like a 90s, I had nothing, like very tough time, usual social issues. I have plenty now, I mean, thanks God. So not that I should stop working, it's just that it's not bad, right?
Yes. So the island is ready.
You're ready. I always remember like 90s, or you have to walk to go to Sadar. You're aware of that. Now you have cars and you enjoyed all the thing. And after a certain time, I mean, how many cars you're gonna drive? How many sneakers you're gonna wear? So you get those things go away very quickly. And then you focus on back to the community development and letting other people get ahead so that society gets better. And that's what they call it now, I think, inequality, right? So that's a big fancy word. We try to even it out, and then it becomes a little bit more harmonized society than this class difference, which becomes more and more problematic.
So Shiraz bhai, I really think we need politicians like yourself who have the abundance mindset, who have the mindset of adding value, and who have the mindset of an engineer, with your triage process of get it done, delegate, or find somebody who can do it. This is phenomenal. I think this is great. And you have my full support, even if I have to move to Texas to vote for you.
Yeah, need more in Texas.
So let's basically come to some light stuff in terms of you said you watch a lot of movies. Are you watching anything on Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, or?
The content is getting very tough to find the good content, but what did I find nice recently, which I like? I mean, I'm liking it. So Clarice came in CBS. If you have watched The Silence of the Lambs, that FBI agent, so Clarice, very famous guy. So she came as a full main character in Clarice. So I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
Liking it. So that's my new favorite. Before that, I watched Your Honor.
Okay.
The same guy, the Breaking Bad guy, I forgot his name. Very well done.
Okay.
I get very fixated if any series is done on a particular city. This is Vienna they're showing. In the past, Dexter, same thing, and Justified is, I think, in somewhere in Kentucky.
Okay.
But I mean, I could talk like for hours on this thing. So
nice.
And this is again from, sorry to plug MCS back. I used to get movies for the course, so you have to develop taste. Otherwise, you get whooped. You're ruining their weekend. Not only 1-2 days. So you have to quickly you learn how to develop taste and without going into details, taste for wide spectrum of people. You can get 3 free, and the rest people have to pay. So you develop quickly the taste. What kind of movie? So yeah, the movies are fun. I think we have a movie group as well, Couch Potatoes group.
yes, and now with the vaccine coming back, a lot of states, and Texas, I think, has reopened. So the theaters are going to reopen, and AMC and all Cinemark and all those things are going to happen. So that's good news. I hope you plan to go there safely with the masks on. So let's talk about any like. Any favorite you said you liked soccer and cricket at time, but you're not following that religiously now, and movies too. So any favorite personalities like actors and sports people or leaders that inspire you, that you think that you learn a lot from or look up to, and tell us something about that.
Yeah, Pele. I mean, there's a Netflix thing on Pele too. One has to watch, and just whether you like it or not. But Pele, great story. I mean, if you study him, same story. It can resonate very well. Very poor guy. Father couldn't win World Cup. A coach again.
Yeah.
Coach takes a chance.
Yes.
Pele insists that I'm going to stick with they call it, I think, Jenga, if I'm remembering the Brazilian style of playing soccer. So he says, I'm going to stick with Jenga style, and then he ends up winning the World Cup. So classical story, and then he's level-headed too. So he's not elitist. He did not went into drug. I mean, Maradona is great too, God bless him, but he veered away. But Pele is very level-headed. Yeah, even with all the wealth and fame and all that stuff. So classical story, I follow him a lot from learning, and again, practice. He used to practice with mangoes on his thighs, so mango does not get a dent. I think this is one of the movie on the show.
Wow.
The street. So whenever a youngsters ask, what should we do? I said, practice. Do something, right? So incrementally you get ahead. So if you study Bill Gates, Mozart, there's a whole book of Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours. I mean, what his claim, I mean, these people are great, don't get me wrong, but I think it's more of a practice.
Yes.
You practice so much in certain things, like in data science or new thing coming up, there won't be anybody else. So you will be ahead anyway.
Yes.
That's all. So incrementally, now they call it agile as well. So same thing, it helps you get ahead in whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's an important. Sorry, if I may, that's a great and important point that you bring up. So many learning lessons today, Shiraz Bhai. So, like, I'm just going to add what I've heard and read somewhere, maybe up and down here, but Bruce Lee's famous statement, right? That I'm not afraid of somebody who knows 10,000 different types of kicks and practiced them once. I'm actually afraid of a person who has practiced one type of kick 10,000 times, right? So exactly what you said, practice, hone your skill, get coaching.
It's 11 o'clock.
I'm sorry?
No, I think my computer is saying it's 11 o'clock. We can continue. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think we're almost close to getting done. 10 next more minutes. I think would not want you to go, but I think we can capture some things to get moving it forward. So, if I may, now we talked about this. Any leader that inspires you, that you really read about, have read about, or you really want to, as you're going to go into politics too, so you really want to bring those skills to yourself.
So no leader in particular, because humanity is so complex that you have to find nuggets in many leaders. So change you follow. I mean, you have obviously prophets. Life is very difficult to study because so bad. But I mean, I mentioned one lesson. So that's one, and then no particular other leader comes up, but I do read a lot and then try to see what are they doing. Latest, I mean, you have Elon Musk and Steve Jobs before that. I mean, Elon Musk is a great example. He's fighting a big change. People hate him, I know, but it's not easy to get rid of combustion engine car. It's like I think someone was say $4 trillion was spent on internal combustion engine to make it perfect since restarted. I may be off on this number, but a lot of money, right?
Yes.
He's trying to fight that and explaining to people that, hey, he's doing that. So those people, it's important to understand how they behave. How they behave. Steve Jobs' books were great. I mean, I was teaching my son how to put something together. Steve Jobs learned from his father, who was a mechanic, that it's important to pay attention to details and all that stuff. So not a particular person, but I do read military leaders. If you cannot read anything, read military leaders, because they were first in the management world. The management came later.
Yes.
Because wars were always there. This management thing is little after that. Most of these lessons, I think, come from how military leaders looked at things.
Wow.
So,
have you, since you read a lot, I'm just going to, and military, since you just discussed, and business and management. So have you, have you read that book, The Team of Teams by General Stan McChrystal?
Not that particular one.
Okay. So I will forward that link over to you. Fantastic book. Fantastic. I think you will like it.
So nowadays, I just finished my scaled agile training. So there's a topic called team topology. It's a great author. My training was done by Dean Leffingwell. He's a big name.
Okay.
So he was talking about what they call team topologies, and lesson is applicable to again NUST as well. So basically, simple. There's a hierarchy. Hierarchy does not go away. Your presidents and all that stuff. You have to have that. Yeah. Someone has to assume the responsibility of bad and good decision. Yes. But then you have small teams who are formed. So we have communication team, we have fundraising team, we have fire chatting team. They're pretty much autonomous. No one is monitoring them. They can farm out, do whatever they feel like. Yes. Let them do. So that's another way to look at. We do the similar in our office agile projects too. That you have quickly made the teams and who are near to the work, what they call, and they can collaborate very well with each other. Very fluent in collaboration rather than waiting for someone's approval. Okay. So those are the good things. Yeah, but send the book.
Thanks for sharing that. That's very helpful, I think. I'm not sure if we have a NUST books group, but if we don't, we should. And whenever, you can get it started, I can get it started, or Taimur Bhai, probably when he listens to it, he will probably already have it started. So that is another thing. Just, I think we're reaching the end of our interview and discussions. A few other questions that I really want to touch on and want to pick your brain on is, how do you look at the future industries, and any specific thing that gets you excited about the future technology that you're looking at, and you really want to expedite it and you can't wait to get your hands on it or see it implemented? Share with us something.
I think in our lifetime we'll probably go to the Mars. I mean, I'm pretty bullish. So because one, Elon Musk is pushing hard for it, and so that's one, the space travel, if you will, or at least to the moon. It's all seeing that Brad Pitt movie. There's a UPS already there, so it would be same as Rawalpindi. There won't be anything different. So just to ground everyone.
That's the expectation.
That would be Mars, right? You would have Taco Bell and everything. So, but that I think is the one where we should be putting our alumni to start getting jobs there. SpaceX, NASA, SpaceX, and Virgin, And also the satellite, we are very good. Ali Akhtar is one of the leading authority we have in NUST on the satellite. So satellite
Oh, nice.
itself will become heavy, more from Star Wars perspective. They are being armed, so
Mhm.
they can maneuver and fight each other like Chinese and everything. So there's another topic. You saw the Space Force.
Yes, yes, we have a space force.
But it's real. It's not theory, because Chinese have demonstrated they can go. So then they come back on the Earth. The electrification, which is
Mm-hmm.
happening, basically replacing fossil fuel, it's now reality, because even in the Houston, which is home of oil,
Mm-hmm.
one is getting trained on carbon neutral, this and that, and it's just that there's always a little bit inertia. It takes a little bit of time, exxon and everything take time.
Yep.
Grids, cars and everything, and it's an ecosystem. Everyone will plug into it, just like everyone plugged into electricity. There used to be, I was joking with Khalid, the Salim, one of our vice presidents from at TBC. There used to be a chief electrical officer when
Oh, nice.
electricity came.
Yes,
Now there would be chief electrification officer
yes,
in every organization, because everyone is going to plug into this grid
exactly.
of electrification, and then enable the use cases. I
Absolutely.
spoke with my daughter. She may not drive the car, because car will come to her, and she
Yeah,
may not mind, because she does not. There's nothing into drive. Driving would be privilege only for few security people or this and that.
yes.
So that's I think two big things which is going to change the society, and one should be getting on to it, start adopting it, learning technologies and everything. So Tesla is like G now, SpaceX is G now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Google, those operate also, but and finally, I do want to mention, because the job becomes jobs thing, like privacy, security
Mm-hmm.
is being heavily looked at, and all the three FANG, they are not able to handle it.
Okay.
They make statement, but it's very
Yes,
complex.
yes.
So that is a ripe area for some innovation, how to let people talk, but still
Mhm.
it needs to be in a private and a secure manner, countering the fake news and
Correct.
deep fake and all that kind of stuff. So those are the big themes I try to study, and then try to see where I learn there or do something else. So that's how you want to stay ahead from the curve.
Yes.
Also coach then youngsters. So cybersecurity, for example, we started coaching people 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Group MCSS Center of Excellence with very good friends in US. So same thing, we try to talk about these and to do that. Yeah.
That's important. I think you have touched very futuristic and three very important aspects that will change as the world as we know it, and potentially also touches everybody that exists on the planet, right? One is Mars, the journey to Mars and the moon that is going to happen in our lifetimes. The second is the electrification of our homes and our vehicles and autonomous machines becoming more and more part of our lives. And last but not least, data privacy and cloud security and cybersecurity and the protection of data is also huge. So, no, thank you. And people listening, I mean, I think great fields to be in, great potentials to change the world and add value by pursuing these careers in these fields. Um, Now, I think we're almost there. And now that you're transitioning over to your role as a board member and coming back to NUSTIAN, I'm just going to talk a little bit there. And you're transitioning off from your role of the president. El Presidente, right? And you're going to be a board member. So, what are some advice, good things that you want to basically share with the new team that's coming on board? Any advice for them you want to share here?
I will just echo what I said earlier. Like, so don't micromanage. So that's always a big problem when team they want to have a control, but let go that there's no need to have control. I mean, people are very smart. Most of the people we work with are professionals. They have full-time jobs, advanced, but do provide them guidance, but don't micromanage. So that's a big one.
Okay.
Micromanage, you're gonna kill yourself, because there's not enough time to do that.
Yes.
So non-profit.
Anything you would do, you would ask them to not repeat or do differently.
I cannot think anything which because we culturally we were very flat, right? So I do see, and we'll talk sometime that then this would be it probably. This is Asan if he's listening. a little bit hierarchy formality has to be there, because I was founder and Satyamur and everything, so we created more of a flat, right? There was no hierarchy. Everyone was like, oh, do whatever you want, which works, but it becomes very, you have to be then very, very skilled to make sure things are happening, right? So if not, then you create a little bit of hierarchy, let that person do, and then he or she just reports to you in certain forum. Otherwise, you have to be in every forum. That's why you see me everywhere, right? So,
Yes.
but it's not sustainable. It has a lot of time commitment to that. So we go back to that team topologies and everything.
Yep.
So not hierarchy for the sake of hierarchy, but it's more to let these leaders like Asan, Anam, and Ahmad and other Mani to have their life as well. Otherwise, they will become very, very problematic.
Yep.
I have organizational history, so I knew I don't really need hierarchy. I can still manage, but
Yes.
they may not. So if they don't have those structures there, it can cause a little bit issue around that. So just like in your org, you will know a
Yes.
communication person does not need to go in every meeting, right?
Correct.
We now everyone is in everyone. I think Satyamur and I have like 140 groups common or something. That's not how corporate runs, right? You know that.
It's
That's
different.
the only thing different. And then finally, never forget who's your customer, right? We always talk in America, customer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so customer is your alumni member, individual alumni member, right? He or she needs help, coaching at various levels. Always, our old NA president once said that, Amar, that break the process, cut off the rules if you are not able to help that person. The
Yep.
processes are just to run the organization, but if you're not serving the end customer,
Yeah.
what's the point of that process? So always gravitate toward helping that person, whether it's picking a person from airport.
Hmm.
I do. I
Yeah.
do myself.
Yes.
Find some basic thing, groceries,
Yes.
things help. I
Yes.
needed that help again when I was here. Otherwise, it would be problem in Pittsburgh, landing at night. Where to go? I don't.
Yes.
Someone was there, or at least knew what we do. So always help the person, which is our stakeholder, and we have external stakeholders to embassy, NUST,
Hmm.
GIK. So those liaison, treat them professionally and enable them. So we enabled PWIC, we enabled GK, we enable embassy, we enable NUST. This is mostly, I think, Rahil's Bodla's thought,
Hmm.
connect with other organization. Again, I'm secure in my role. I don't mind if Mosma and PWIC succeeding or embassy succeeds. More power to them.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's a beautiful mindset. I think that is lacking in today's society, and that is extremely important to learn. We don't have to succeed by putting other people down. It doesn't elevate us by downing or downgrading somebody. Actually, upgrading others helps us upgrade too. So, beautiful mindset. Um, Last but not the least, I mean, I'll be hard pressed to find anything, but is there any piece of advice that you would give to your younger self to do differently, to learn something more, to be more risk taking, to be more traveling, to be more entrepreneuring, to be more anything?
no, I mean, it's hard to say, but I don't think so. So I took lots of risk. I was hitting all the things like a friends I mentioned. Those friends had a different skill set, and then moment I got chance to work in non, I never worked in telecom, so I moved to the Air Force area, where it's more system on aircraft. Then US people were saying, why you are going, your cushy job is a government job, grade 17, I don't know. Let's go see. At least I will come back with a master's. So
Yeah.
only thing I think goes back, we should have started alumni a little earlier. I mean,
Okay.
like a 3-4 years earlier, but it was very, very young school. Even our officers and civilian, they were still figuring it out what exactly we did, right? Even that GK was brand new.
Yeah.
So that was only, and then one thing I still have a heartache since we are talking, and I think I would call it a failure on my part too, and my peers as well. The NUST Alumni Association, the old one, we should have intervened very heavily and had held this election at the regular interval. We did not do that, and it created a lot of headache and frustrations and pretty much animosity between old guards.
Hmm.
still trying to pack that, but I do want to talk about it because I was part of that. And despite our efforts, it did not happen. It got delayed to the point that NUST said it needs to happen, and it happened, and then the old guard is now mad.
Oh,
That's the reason we insisted that in NUSTIAN USA election will happen. Shiraz is not going to stay. It needs to happen, and we move on. So fresh faces, and we will support them, but I think they're capable of running. So that's if you were talking what could have been done differently. So that would be old NUST Alumni Association.
okay.
It caused lots of rifts. I mean, very tough ones. Yeah, we maneuvered it well, but it's still you have to patch up lots of relationships. So next MA election, whenever they happen, hopefully we bring both sides back in and say contest, and then may the best win, and then we because there's lots of your 20 years of volunteer experience.
Yes, no.
Not name all of them, too many people, and it's like then you become politics that they're aligning there, and we may start seeing some issues during fundraising and support and all that stuff. Because if order is coming from there or initiative, they're not gonna help. It's that bad, but
Understood. So we all learn from lessons, and I think it's an important, valuable lesson that you're sharing is.
Yeah, and we put corrective action here, like we will have election. I wanted to have September to help run it, then everyone supported, and we have great leader as Hammad is skilled lead director himself, so they're well groomed, well trained. They were part of the founding members, so I don't think there will be issue. But this habit that this person is important of that we have to get out of it. That's another Pakistani issue.
Yes.
You just need to keep changing. And,
putting systems in place, in other words.
And pull other people, like just like we help you say come up, right? I was talking to you, just come up and you will learn, right? I mean, this is not that hard.
Yes.
Great job. I never would have thought about Fireside Chat, right? I mean, we are doing for 20 years, we never had a Fireside Chat. So that's what it brings the new faces. They think differently, different age groups.
So this has, I would say, been an amazing experience for myself first, and I've been lucky. This is my first Fireside Chat, conducting an interview, and that too with yourself. So I am, I got to know you. It's an honor to have spoken with you and brought your thoughts to our audience and our team and our aspiring, as I said, audience and learning audience and growing audience. I hope the people have enjoyed this discussion. I believe that I learned a lot from you. Thank you for all your time and precious time that you've given us. And I think, and I believe it's going to be extremely valuable for the folks who watch through it. With that, I have run out. I have tons of more things, but I think in the interest of time, in the interest of keeping it sane, I'm done. I think I thank you, and I cannot thank you more enough. Do you have any other thoughts and closing thoughts?
Parting thought again, the way I was taught, always what they call it, bias toward action of helping other. I will just add help other, right? Before this, I am a person, not to keep bragging over myself, but it's weekend, right? It's tough. I ran 10 mile. A person says I need to have some internship in consultancy, a mechanical engineer.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I cannot write that much. Let's talk. So I spent like a 40-50 minutes giving him the guidance, right? So it's very tough. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy.
No.
I did not tell him, hey, go online and Google, right? That's another behavior I'm seeing in youngsters, that they say, go Google. Yeah, everyone can Google. That's why we are here.
Yes.
So find time, even if it's 15 minutes, and you can always do that. Don't watch a certain movie and that person will remember. Then tomorrow that person, if he or she is at certain position to give back, they will give more. Doesn't need to give to alumni. It's about, again, go to back to equality. So try to help as much as you can, bias toward the action. And many people do. But some behavior I see, go online, and no. I learned a lot from Dean Leffingwell. I was telling about last, I had 20 years of management experience, but I learned immensely in 4 days from him. Then I could learn from all the books. So I always have a bias toward action of helping others. And if you don't know how to help it, pull other people. Just
Yep.
start messaging. That's how we do that. Now we have very wide access. We have bureaucrats, we have military people, we have civilians, we have embassy. Embassies, your Petlo guy is always from EME. He's very kind. We have not a single issue which we cannot get done at embassy. Colonel Bilal, I think, and before that, I forgot his name. A very nice gentleman from Degree 18. So they're on our speed dial. Whatever help, any problem comes up, they respond very quickly. So again, resources are there. It's just that you have to be willing. Some people get to be front.
Yes.
Lucky to be you are getting there as an, but then there's a responsibility to help others, no matter what kind of work it is. That's all. So thank you very much again for giving me chance. It's my first this long interview. So
I'm sure it's not going to be the last one, Shiraz Bhai. You are an inspiration. We should all look up towards. We learned so much from you. And on behalf of Nustian, on behalf of our audience, on behalf of our team, I thank you and cannot be more grateful and humbled with your chat and time and virtual handshake. All right, sir. Thank you.